I'm watching Isaac downstairs. Oh, there he is. He's playing downstairs in the swing. He's swinging by himself. Anyways, Melody's story began a little over 3 years ago. I was 18. We got pregnant with Melody. And we moved back up to Washington from California. I mean, everything was going fine. We went to our doctor's appointment, and I opted to go with a midwife instead of a doctor. It was just just wanted to try something out of the norm with her. We did not know at the point of time that she was going to be a girl. We went to our first appointment. Like I said, my mom went with us to our first appointment. Did she? I think so. But we went to our first appointment, heard her heartbeat, we saw an ultrasound of her, and she was just, tiny, and, as far as at that point in time, midwife was like, everything's looking perfectly fine, we're looking good, she sounds perfect, and, so that was it. That was the first appointment. Now, at this point in time, we were working at our old job as chefs at a retirement home. So the retirement home was literally like at the most 5 minutes away from the clinic that I was going to, the midwife clinic. So yeah, we went, first appointment, everything was fine. We went to our second appointment, everything seemed perfectly fine. She was growing, coming along, heartbeat sounded perfectly fine. So everything just seemed perfect. We were doing good. Like I said, she was growing perfectly fine. And then, a couple weeks, was it a couple weeks? Maybe a couple weeks, a week or two, after my second appointment, where I started getting sick. I think it was flu season, and I just started feeling sick. There was a scare in the pregnancy where I went to the restroom and I started spotting, and I freaked out. I was supposed to go into work a little later that day. Ew. But I freaked out. What are you doing? I freaked out. I told my mom. I called the clinic and sit down. And they were like, no, yeah, I can't. It sounds like it's nothing. If you want to come in, you can come in, or you can just, just rest. So I was like, okay, I'll just go home, because I was outside of the job when I was telling my mom, and my mom talked to our boss at the time, and he was like, you know what, if you want to go home and rest, just rest. I'll figure something out to cover your shift. And I opted. I was like, yeah, I'll go home, I'll rest, just make sure everything's okay. Hey, move, please. Move, please. Oh, Isaac, I need you to move, please. And so I went home and I rested. And like I said, I was getting sick. It was around flu season, and I was like, it's the flu, and I don't know, something seemed off. I hadn't been feeling her move as much.
What was it that?
Yeah, put it back, because that's Eddie's and I don't want you to rip it. She wasn't moving as much, and I mean, I had just had a checkup. After, the scare. I had just had a checkup, and, they told me everything looked fine, heartbeat sounded perfect, and they kept using the word perfect. So, I mean, we were all under the assumption that everything was perfectly fine. So, it's, 2 weeks go by, and like I said, I had been feeling sick, and it's time for our ultrasound, our 20-week ultrasound, where you essentially, generally around that ultrasound, you find out the gender of the baby. So we were so excited. My mom went with us. She was ready to find out what it was too. She could have sworn it was a girl, and I had a feeling that it was a girl. But yeah. So we go into the ultrasound. I had been drinking and chugging water, because you know how you're supposed to drink lots of water, and if the more water and the more elevated the baby is, the more they can see, the best results for the ultrasound. So I was just chugging water after water, and I couldn't go to the bathroom once I was in the clinic already, because then I would just release the water and it would be pointless for the water intake. So I couldn't go to the bathroom, and I needed to go pee so bad, you guys. What? Yeah, Eddie's at school. I need to go pee so bad that I tried sneaking into the bathroom, and my mom and Jonathan stopped me, and they ran in, and I was about to pee myself. And so yeah, and then a little bit after they stopped me, and then a little bit after they called me in, and I was in there, and they're pressing on my stomach, you guys, and I had to pee so bad, and I was like, oh my lord. I told the lady that was doing the ultrasound, I was like, I have to pee. So she's like, can you hold it a little bit longer? And I was like, okay, I'll try. And then I was like, okay, no, I have to pee. If not, I'm gonna pee on your bed. What, baby? Yeah, go night night. So then I got off and went to the bathroom. She left, and then she came back. And during this ultrasound, we saw a wave. So obviously, and like I said, it was my first pregnancy, so I wasn't sure. And up until this point, I don't remember if during ultrasounds they let you hear the heartbeat during the ultrasound. I don't recall. But, I wasn't sure. I didn't. So far, everything seemed normal, and like I said, she waved, so that seemed perfectly normal. And the nurse just kept looking, and then she asked me about when I was set to see my midwife again, and I was like, well, I have an appointment a couple hours after this appointment with her. And so, she's like, okay, and she just kept looking and looking. And then she's like, okay, so she gave us the picture of her waving, and she gave us another picture of her, of the ultrasound. And then she's like, okay, so I need to go and consult with one of the doctors, and then I'll be back. But that's all she said. Wait. Now, I did start, there was a vibe, but I didn't think too much into it. And then she comes back, and she's like, okay, so I need you to go and see your doctor right away, right now. I need you to be quiet. Okay, but I need you to be quiet. So she's like, I need you to go and see the doctor right away, right now, as soon as you leave here. And I was like, okay. So, that obviously was one red flag there. And so we're like, okay. So, and the hospital where I had the ultrasound, hey, listen to me. I need you to be quiet. Okay, but I need you to be quiet. So, what did I just say? So my mom was with us, and the hospital they're all in the same, so our job was right here, and then you go up this street and you go around, and the midwife clinic was right here, and then if you go, so coming this way for my job, this way is the clinic, this way is the hospital. So they're all in the same area. So from the hospital, I went straight to the clinic, and they were already waiting for us. Now, usually we didn't have to wait too long. We never waited too long in the waiting room. We never waited too long in the actual room when they take you to the back. It was always quick, in and out, basically. But this time, it took a little longer. They had us sit down. Now, thinking of it, obviously they were waiting for the actual results to come back for them to receive them from the hospital. So we were waiting in the waiting room, and I was just there, and we were just talking, we were even talking about where we all really wanted burgers, some good burgers, and we were all talking about, Jonathan, myself, and my mom were talking about where we should go after this appointment to get some good burgers, and we were talking about the different places, and we were all just laughing. And then, you know, after they brought us into the room, we were just talking about it, laughing, and then the midwife comes in, and she tells us that she didn't have some good news for us. And we were like, okay, but you know, even at this point in time, I was like, well, I saw her move, so maybe, you know, maybe they think they saw something. Like maybe she has a disability, something like that. You know, not once in my mind did it cross that she was gone, because I saw the wave. So she tells us, you know, she's like, we did not see a heartbeat, and I was like, what? And you guys, like, you know, in your mind, or maybe it's just me, but in my mind, I always thought of, if I ever heard something like that, I'd just burst out in tears, and I just, you know, I don't know. But when she said that, I was just like, I think I was just like in shock, because she said it, and I was like, what? No. I was like, no, that's not possible, because she just waved to me, and then it was just exactly 2 weeks ago when we were here, and the heartbeat was fine, and you said everything was perfectly fine, and I was just going through all of this in my head, and I was like, no. You know, and my mom just had to step out of the room. So she stepped out. Careful. She stepped out of the room. Jonathan just held on to me, and still in this point in time, I was just like I said, I think I was in shock. I don't know. I was in disbelief, and I was like, no, I was like, no, that's not right. And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, you know, it's just like we couldn't find a heartbeat in the ultrasound. And then she's like, I'll give you guys a minute. So she walks out, and then I just sit there, and then it's, you know, the waterworks come, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just trying to make sense of what, and then first thing that comes to my head, what did I do wrong? You know, I was like, oh my God, I had the flu, maybe it was my fault, but what did I do, you know? And then I was like, some days I don't eat as much as I should be, maybe it's that, and it was just, you guys, it was just a roller coaster, and just everything just started flashing through my mind, and I was like, what did I do? How did this happen? This can't be true, you know? Oh, this is so cute. Okay, but you need to take it over there, because it's not yours, it's Betty's. So yeah, and then she comes back in with some tissues, you know, after she gave us like 5 minutes, and then she's like, and then she starts talking to us, and then obviously, then they have to give you your options. Stop, baby, stop. Put it back. She starts giving us our options, you know, we could, and then now we have to see an actual doctor, actual OBGYN. So she recommends us, and then we, you know, it's in the same clinic, just different room basically. But then she asked, you know, if we would like for her to use the Doppler to check for a heartbeat, just because she, like I said, I was in such disbelief, because just 2 weeks ago to the date, I had just heard her heartbeat. She had just told me that she was perfectly fine. She just waved to me in the ultrasound like, this can't be, you know, they're wrong. That's what I would like. You're wrong. You're wrong. Like, this ain't true. But obviously, you know, she did it, and you guys, I kid you not, as I laid on that bed, and as she went through, and she was just clicking. And I was sitting there, and I was closing my eyes, and I was praying to God, and I was like, God, please let there be a heartbeat. Please, God, I'm begging you. And, you know, and I said, the baby is sleeping. You need to be quiet. Okay? Do you want to go on timeout? No. I said, stop. The baby's sleeping. Papa. You're going to go on timeout? Stop. Now, my heart was racing, so when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's the heart, but it was mine. So yeah, you know, she didn't find the heartbeat. So we drove home, and I just, you know, we were on the freeway, and I was crying, but it wasn't like I was screaming and out of control. I was just quiet, and, you know, tears were just rolling down my eyes, and I was just, like I said, I was trying to make sense of it all. And you guys, the the funny part of it all was when she waved bye to us in that ultrasound. Isaac, you need to be quiet. The baby's sleeping. When she waved to us in the ultrasound, I said she's saying bye to us because we were joking and we were like, she wasn't opening her legs, obviously, so that we could see her gender. I was like, she's saying bye, you guys. Not today. And turns out it was her wave goodbye to us. So yeah. So fast forward, after I went home, Isaac, stop. We had a decision to make whether we wanted my body to just go through it all naturally, and just once my body understood that she was gone, it would start to go through itself, put itself in labor, so that I could give birth to her. Now, that was option number 1. Option number 2 was setting up an appointment at the doctor, at the hospital, being induced, and then just giving birth to her. Hold on, the actual, the mail just came. The curtain just, but those were 2 options, and and I tried. I sat here and I was in the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I would just hold on to my stomach and I was like, how am I supposed to make this decision? I don't want to let go of you.